Hi, Genki Call here in Gems of War for the week of April 17th, 2023. There's a lot going on, and I need to get some sleep, so I'm only going to do one video right now, but I am going to include information I don't normally include here, such as world event scoring and information on the new spring event. But one thing we don't have is campaign. Campaign will not be back for 2 weeks. I was mistaken in my last video when I read on the forum it's going to be put off for 2 weeks. I thought that included last week, but it didn't. No more campaign for 2 weeks. This week and next week, no campaign. Alright, now that we've got that cleared up. Dragon's Claw is the kingdom we're in this week, but before we do that, let's go into the shop and go to resources, get your spoils of war. Provided that you need event keys, it's a fantastic deal for 10 event keys. Every event key, of course, is a chance at a mythic. Yay, mythics! Alright, weekly event. Our glory troop this week is Veneratus. Veneratus. Okay, and with him you will get all of these rewards. Veneratus will convert all red gems into yellow dragon gems. Dragon gems, when you match them, they'll explode everything underneath them in the column. So it won't explode the dragon gem. Let's say this is the dragon gem right here. So from here down, it will destroy, or not destroy, it will explode all of those gems. So if it's at very bottom of the screen, it won't do anything. But this troop is empowered, so it could be really interesting for Guild Wars and for various things. We'll see how it goes. And of course I'm going to get this all the way up to Mythic, because that is a guaranteed level 20 troop when you need it for your power level at the kingdom. Plus you get all of this nice stuff in addition. So we're going to do that. And now we're going to go into Dragon's Claw, and I'll show you what you can get with your event keys this week. Ha 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 ha! There we go. Base rarity. Now, you will not be able to get the Horde Mimic. There's only one way to get the Horde Mimic, and that is from finding a Mimic during an Explorer boss battle, and then finding a Horde Mimic after that Mimic, and then, by chance, getting the Horde Mimic troop. I went for so long without this darn thing, and now I have 3 of them. Go figure. All done. Alright, something else you will not be able to get from your event keys. There's only one way to get it, folks. Diamantina. You cannot get this with event keys. It has to be crafted in the Soul Forge after you craft all of the other gem dragons and also the rings in there. But what you can get, 3 mythics in the drop table. We have Elmagrim, who does damage to all enemies, create purple gems boosted by burning enemies. Every burning enemy, if all 4 of them are on fire, then you'll get an additional 4 purple gems. It also decreases all enemies' attack by 4 on 4+ gem matches, and it's impervious. There are some really good options to use with Elmagrim nowadays to just keep him looping and looping and looping. Previously, he was not considered very good as far as mythics go, but I think that he's kind of picked up some with the newer troops that have come into the game. Next up is Ishtara, my favorite of the 3. This one does damage to all enemies also creates 9 gems, this one yellow, boosted by blessed allies, and it's also 1-to-1, so you have up to an additional 4 yellow gems. 50% chance to bless a random ally when my turn begins, so she can actually boost her own spell, whereas Elmagrim can't. He doesn't actually burn anyone, so you can't get that boost from him like she can. Skull damage reduction by 40% is very nice as well. Tiamata, I'm kind of disappointed with this troop. Damage to all enemies, then create 4x wild cards, which is great unless they miss, and then you give those to your enemy and they take all of the mana on the screen. 25% chance to create a 2x wild card when matching 4+ gems, and gain 10 life when an enemy casts a spell. Skull damage reduction by 30%. It's not terrible. It's not. It's just, it's a bit risky. A little bit risky to use this guy. Next up, we have what was widely considered to be the best healer in the game for a very long time, and that is Divinia. She explodes all red gems, cleanses all allies, and gives them all life. Super nice, this troop. The only thing that is a little prohibitive with her is the 15 mana cost for her, but as long as there are red gems on the board, usually she's going to fill herself up at least most of the way. She also gives a random positive status effect on 4+ gem matches, so that is super nice. You've got the cleanse, you've got the mana gen, and you've got the random positive status effects. She is definitely a good troop. Essentia, on the other hand, is absolutely useless. Dragon spirits don't do much. If you've got a dragon spirit on your team, then you'll get some mana gen, explode 10 gems, but pretty much Essentia is useless, except she does give all dragon allies a 50% mana start. She is currently the only way to get a 50% mana start for dragons, but yeah, it's a shame that that 50% start comes with such a poor troop. Bleh. I'll go ahead and go over the dragon spirit right now since it's sitting here saying howdy. There is, it does scatter damage. It's not very much scatter damage when you divide it by 4, and a 75% chance to enchant all allies, which is admittedly not bad, but you're not going to be winning any battles with this spell. Not off of, if you only have dragon spirits and Essentia on your team, you're not going to get anywhere very quickly anyway. Gets a little extra magic, so every time you cast a spell, this number goes up by a little bit, and then mana shield and spell damage reduction. Just overall, not great. Matron Dragatani is a real pain to fight. Creates 6 blue gems boosted by frozen enemies, so every frozen enemy is an additional 2 blue gems. Does damage to the first and last enemies boosted by blue gems. But the reason that she is irritating is because she has a spell damage reduction by 75%, and if you're fighting her with scatter damage, she will not die. It takes forever to kill her with scatter damage. Anyway, other than that, you know, people generally don't use this troop. I don't know that I've ever used her, but maybe in world events when you're very limited to what you can take with you, but I'm not sure. Because I've never used her. Next up, Dragon Soul. This is another mana gen option. 16 mana cost on this one. This one explodes random gems. It doesn't have to be, it's not a certain color. Does damage, just a tiny bit of damage to all enemies boosted by the number of dragon allies. An additional 3 damage for each dragon ally. Still not a lot, just a little bit of damage, and you gain 15 souls. If you need the souls, that's nice. Now, the Dragon Soul works beautifully if you're running with a storm. For instance, running with Stormcall with a persistent red storm, you blow this thing up and you have red just falling down. Or if you have a Hellstorm, Hellstorm requires casting to get, though. You can't just get a persistent Hellstorm, but Hellstorm is red and purple. If you want information on how to get the Hellstorm, let me know and I will point you in the right direction. 50% chance to become a baby dragon with full mana upon death. It's great, unless you're fighting it in a delve. But, anyway. Next up, we have the Great Worm. You will not be able to get this. This is from Worm Run only. The Worm Run troops you have to get from the Underworld with your Chaos Shards. Next up is Asha. Convert all blue gems to any color you want. Enchant a random ally and give them 3 magic. It's, you know, if you need a lot of a certain color and you're limited on your mana gen, this will, you know, it's something that you can do. You know, it's mana gen. It's just, I like my empowered stuff. If I'm going to use these colors, I'm going to use Leprechaun, generally speaking, but she is an option. And she does get bonus purple mana from purple gem matches, which does feed back into herself. Next up is the Quaddle. I never use this thing. Create 12 gems of a random color. Oh joy. Let's give mana to the opposite team. If you are using every single color on the board, this might be useful to you. But then again, if there are only 2 yellow gems and it matches yellow, there's a good chance you're not going to loop and you're going to give all that mana to the other team. 20% chance to dodge skull damage and mana shield. Dragon Spirit, I went over already. Lady Garnisha. Lady Garnisha does damage to an enemy boosted by my armor. This is our Godslayer, so when you come here to Dragon's Claw, if you're using one of the Gem Dragons or Zul'Goth or Enraged Korindara, anything with a red border, she will do this 3 to 5 times damage with her skulls if she's traded, and always with her spell. Yep, Godslayers, awesome troops. Awesome troops to have. Lady Garnisha. That's interesting. Alright, sorry, I digress. Never mind what I was thinking. Lord Ember, this one transforms any color you want to red and gives all other allies 1 magic. It's okay for mana gen if you need a lot of red and you don't have other choices. Next up is Red Ahriman. This guy explodes 1 mana gem, does damage to all enemies of that mana color. That one color. If you're fighting a team that's monochromatic, it can work, but you get bonus red mana for red gen matches. It does feed back into himself, and it has a little bit of skull damage reduction as well. Next up is Sibelius. I like Sibelius. There are better options here as far as epic troops go, but this does eliminate all armor from the first enemy, then deals damage to all enemies. So you're not just doing damage to all enemies, you're also stripping off the armor. Of course, if their armor's already gone, not as useful, but you know, it is going to do that extra damage. But it's not a lot of damage to all enemies, and it is stealthy as well, and greedy. It likes the gold. Hey, they're dragons. Of course they like the gold. Now, I said there are others that are better as far as epics go. Silfrostenath and Volthornax. These two are very powerful. These two are as strong as most legendaries that do the same type of spell. I'm really a fan of these two troops, so let's go over them. Silfrostenath does damage to all enemies, freezes 1 to 4 random enemies. It itself is immune to frozen and has skull damage reduction. You put this on a team, this jumps way up, and it's just really nice for quick delps. And if you don't have legendaries, it's a really, really good one to have, as is Volthornax. This one explodes a gem. Any gem you want, deals damage to all enemies boosted by yellow gems destroyed, an extra 4 damage to each enemy for each yellow gem destroyed, which means Volthornax can actually do more damage than Silfrostenath, but of course it doesn't do the freeze. Also, it has mana shield and skull damage reduction. Can't get this, it's from from Wormrun Tharmaris. This one is our Siege Breaker. This is going to do the 3 to 5 times damage, just like the Godslayer, but this is for towers. So Invasion Towers and Leonis Tower will do that extra damage. Yeah, I already went over that. Great. I'm just gonna go ahead and do this right quick. Because I'm here and I will forget if I don't do it now. These are really cool artwork. I really like this troop artwork. Right, so Empowered. Mana conversion. I think it's going to be pretty interesting. Next up is Visk. Visk will do damage to an enemy, bonus damage to all enemies that use yellow mana, and will light them on fire. It itself is immune to burning and fairy fire, and burns enemies when doing skull damage, then also has skull damage reduction. Between these two, it would be good to run at the front of the team, especially if you're running with a troop that does bonus damage to burning enemies, and you don't have other options. Already went over this. Dragonian Monk. This guy destroys gems in an X shape and barriers a random ally for every yellow gem destroyed. The problem with this troop is that you have to slow down and think and track where the X is going to go so that you can make sure to hit those yellow gems. Hold on just a second. Also, as partly empowered, starts with 50% mana. It's pretty nice. Dragonian Rogue. This one destroys gems in an X shape as well. Basically, it's a wild card. I think the wild cards are the ones that do the X shape. No. Oh gosh. There are so many special gems in the game now, I can't remember. Anyway, destroy gems in an X shape, does damage to the last enemy boosted by purple gems destroyed. Once again, you have to slow down and track where the X is going to go to make sure you get those purple gems. An additional 3 damage for each purple gem, but it only hits one target. Gains 1 magic when an ally casts a spell, and it's stealthy. Next, we have the Dragonian Sage. Oh, this guy. I am not a fan of this guy. Give 2 magic to an ally and mana equal to half their mana cost. So this guy has 11 mana. You'll get 5 mana. Even if he's already at 11 mana, I mean, say he's at 10 mana, he's still going to get half of that cost. And if they're a dragon, barrier and enchant them. Just at the end of the day, there are so many troops that are better than this guy. I myself have never used him, and I probably never will, unless I get forced. Spell damage reduction by 25% as well. Dragon Moth does damage to an enemy if there are 13 or more red gems. Explode all the red gems. That's nice if there are lots of red gems on the board, but otherwise it's kind of just okay. Can dodge skull damage and immune to entangle, which could be useful in certain situations. Next up is the Egg Thief, which is fantastic for running with your gold farming team. My favorite to use on the gold farming team, because not only is it destroying gems every time you cast, she'll destroy more gems because it's boosted by your gold, and you gain gold every time you cast it. You can loop with her, and if you lose your first troop, which, you know, generally you're going to do on your gold farming team, especially when you're running autoplay like I do, she summons an egg shield, so just keep getting eggs up there and you just win. Love this troop. She's very, very useful. You will not be able to get Netherworm. That's from Wormrun. You will not be able to get the Horned Worm either. Dragonette does damage to an enemy, inflicts 1 to 5 random status effects. That could be anything. That could be Deathmark. That could be Freeze. It could be Lycanthropy. We just don't know. Starts battles with 50% mana and gain 1 magic for each purple ally, which is, you know, fine. It's not amazing, but it's only an 8 mana cost. The Dragator destroys a column, gives all dragon allies extra attack and armor boosted by yellow gems destroyed. You know, it's not a terrible option if you're running with dragons, if you're really limited with what you own or what you're allowed to use at any given time. I used to use Drago a lot to create those blue gems, and the charm was very nice because, you know, at lower level, charm makes whatever you hit attack the enemies that are touching it. So if it hits one of the 2 middle troops, it's going to hit both troops on either side of it. Can't get that. 3 more. Nope. 2 more. Baby Dragon. Georgia, thank you. Hold on just a second. Don't feed him after midnight. Ha! Hold on. Alright. Damage to a random enemy, transform into a random dragon. This could be any random dragon from any kingdom, including any of the gem dragons or Diamantina. Can happen, has happened for me multiple times. Also a little extra magic for each red ally, which doesn't really matter. You're not going to kill anything with this damage. You're immediately going to transform to something else, but yeah, it can be fun to use in certain situations. Dragon eggs summon baby dragons and gains a little bit of life when you cast. Again, this is great for a meat shield, basically. You got that egg shield to protect your hero when you're running with the gold farming team. I'll see if I can remember to add that video at the end of this video so you can see what I'm talking about. And of course, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. And 25% to summon a baby dragon upon death. You will not be able to get Periton. This is only available from Guild Wars. Yes, can't get this. Alright, so let's go over events. Yeah, we still need to go over this. We still need to go over scoring for the world event. But first, let's finish up the usual stuff. And that would be events this week. So divine troops get plus 10% and dragons get plus 10%. So divine dragons like Ishtara, divine Ishtara, plus 20% to their skills this week. Also, if you take the new glory troop into PvP, you get an additional 5 glory that you wouldn't normally get. Let me see. Alright, upcoming events. We've got the spring event. We're going to go over that in a minute, but tomorrow we have, the Faction Assault at Wormrun. I kept mentioning Wormrun. That's where we're going tomorrow. And on Wednesday, we have Wormling Pet Rescue. On Thursday, we have the Dragon Guard, where is it? Class Trial. And this weekend, we have a Vault event this weekend. Oh, Vault is coming in. Oh, yeah. That's the big news for the week, is we've got Vault coming. Boom chakalaka. Let's go hump some yomies. All right, but that's not till Friday. As far as the spring event, you saw that you can get into it here. If you have a pet rescue or something, it will show up here. You just scroll to the right and you can click on it here, or you can have this annoying button right here and click on it there. So it tells you here you can use green troops to fight the battles. Your rewards are here. We've got a new troop. We've got the pet for that new troop. And we have this new spring armor as well. So as far as teams for this go, I can't put together teams right this minute, but you have to use green troops, which means you can use green attack teams. And so for now, for anybody that's raring to go and doesn't want to wait for me to do my video, you can use a green attack team, and I will link in my forum with all of my green attack teams on it in the description. So if you don't want to wait, check that out and you can go find some teams there. Lastly, we have the world event scoring. And so it's a little bit annoying, and I don't have time for that either. I've got to get some sleep. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. All right, that is right here. So the world event scoring is a bit of a pain. It's going to be rarity order as far as the mythic and the legendaries. Take the highest possible level on them every time. It's in rarity order, just in general. But as far as the last three go here, the epic and the ultra rares, the purple and the blue here, they're going to drop variable rewards, so they might drop extra points and they might not. The mythic and the legendaries are always going to drop extra points as long as you're doing harder battles. So anyway, that's what I have for you for the moment. I will get back to you with Soulforge and Soulforge, the holiday event and the world event as soon as I can. Gotta get some sleep. But in the meantime, I hope that you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye!